Welcome to the second part of the history of Great Forsaken. I'm covering the time from 1997 to 1999 now. In 1997, we weren't going so great with Richard and Scott in the band, Scott on bass, Richard on guitar. So in about March of that year, we recruited Ben Travier, who was a kid at my youth group, who used to come along to rehearsals that Chris and I would have at the church, and he was a keen player. So he came in, and we were just so happy to have somebody who would come to rehearsal every week and play, that even though he was sort of only learning the bass, we gave him a go. So we went from there, and that was about March, April 97, and so we started rehearsing. Then in August 97 we decided it was time to play a show. So we booked ourselves to play at the youth group that I used to help run in those days, and it was sometime in August 1997 that we finally got around to playing a gig. Now, by this time we changed our name to Sanctified. Sanctification sounded a bit like mortification, so we'd shortened it, and we did that show in 97, which there's some footage of. And now that we had an actual stable lineup that was rehearsing every week, it was definitely now possible to go and play some more shows. So I remember in the November of 1997 we went and played at Chris's church, South Perth Church of Christ. We played after their Sunday service one night. That was a pretty fun gig. I remember we had problems with the noise levels. The vocals didn't come through very well. Chris was doing vocals at that stage. And then moving into 1998 we played an event called the Gospel Eisteddfod, and that was a really good time for the band. That was actually the first time that I ever met Daniel Holmes and Matt Skipworth at the Gospel Eisteddfod. So those people are still people who I have a lot to do with these days. So they were playing in a band called Prestos at the time. So that was a really good night. We also played a show at Lakeside Church. Their youth group had a concert on one night, and that was where we actually recorded the Live at Lakeside release, which was our first CDR release with the band. It was recorded by my friend Andre Golick, and in a very rudimentary way, but it was the first thing that we ever put out, and he actually did all the layout and artwork, and this was in the very early days of CDRs, mind you, 1998. So it was a really big effort that Andre put in for us on that release, so thank you, Andre. I'm sure he's still out there watching. So Live at Lakeside happened. We also did an unplugged show in 1998 as well. We were looking for a way to maybe interest a few more of the people, and Unplugged series was pretty popular on MTV, so we decided to do our own version of an Unplugged at Bigton Uniting Church, and that was also a lot of fun that night. So some footage exists of that show as well.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So we were reasonably busy around that time, and we were writing a lot of songs and hoping to eventually go in and cut a proper album, but we didn't really have the knowledge or the expertise or the resources. Now, what happened as 1998 wound down, I started getting very busy with uni. I was in third year of a four-year uni course, so I was finding it was getting harder and harder to rehearse. And so and I regretfully say, largely due to my own reasons, I kind of wound down the band in late 1998, Sanctified. We did a few gigs in early 99, but it was running out of momentum by then. So yeah, things were coming to a halt, and then after those last couple of gigs in 1999, Ben and Chris decided to go on, and they brought in Alison Smith on drums. So there was actually a little period of time when I wasn't involved with Sanctified, and that led directly into the next era of the band, which I actually came back in at the start of 2000 on bass, and that was when we changed the name to Guitarist. So Guitar ran from 2000 through to 2004, and that's the era that we'll deal with in the next episode. Hope you've enjoyed this little insight and having a look at some old photos and some footage from those gigs on this episode of GFTV, and we'll see you next time for History of Grave Forsaken Part 3, the Guitar Years.